It's now time for Thankful Thursday with your host, Fionia Salmon.
Hi everyone, good evening. Happy Thursday. Happy Thankful Thursday. I am your host, Fionia Salmon, and today we will be discussing the importance of cultural diversity for children. And today we have a special guest, Shennell Louden, and she will be joining us in discussing this topic to tie with her book that she has written. So before we get into it, Thankful Thursday is brought to you by Ionia Distributors, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware set and also my motivational t shirt that featured the title of my book. It will be long, but not forever. Now that it's Mother's Day weekend, what are you waiting on to get a copy of my book? And also to show your appreciation to your mothers by purchasing a t-shirt as well. So thank you so much. And for those who are listening on Facebook and also YouTube, welcome. And I'm happy that you're here with me. And for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting on to subscribe? So go ahead and subscribe. And for my loyal subscribers, thank you so much. Go ahead and share out my content wide and far to your friends, family, everybody that you know. Just go ahead so that we continue to build this community. So today, let's turn to our guest, Shennell Louden. She's a past student of Northern Caribbean University. She recently wrote a book for children ages 3 to 12 that is called Little Tommy Great Adventures. And this evening, it ties into our topic, the importance of cultural diversity for children. Chanel, welcome to Thankful Thursday.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona, for having me. It's been, you know, some time, but I'm happy to be here. I know it took me a little while to get here, but I'm happy. I'm
Thank you
happy
so
to
much.
be here.
I'm happy that you're here. Take the time out of your busy schedule. However, we want to get into the reason why you wrote this book, Little Adventure.
Wow. Well, that question actually has several answers. The main one was to inspire children to read because I realized that during COVID, nobody was actually, observing the children and their literacy. And it was reported also in the news that the literacy rate had gone down. Next to that, I realized that we have an issue with, as you said, cultural diversity here. And I wanted all children to feel included. I didn't want them to be subjected to the color of their skin, for somebody to just make and draw a conclusion about them before even knowing them. Not only that, there was a little boy that he was being bullied because he couldn't read. I remember his name Jabari. I was working during COVID at Elite Early Childhood Center. That's a basic school here in Ocho Rios. And I remember that when the children were around the table reading, he had a hard time. He couldn't pronounce. He had speech delay in addition, and the fact that he was being bullied, I wanted to do something for children like that so that they could feel included. So it's actually a picture book, and we know that we all started reading from early, but we all started reading by pictures.
Thank you so much. We will definitely go in depth and we will look at five ways the importance of cultural diversity is important for kids. And you mentioned the bullying and everything. So now let's talk a little bit about tolerance and respect. How does it brought out in your book?
Well, tolerance, I mean, the mother, she was very patient. That's Carol with her son, that's little Tommy. And actually, these characters are real. Where my mother, I remember my mother, her name is Carol in short for Carol in the story. My real brother's name is Rasan, but I knew the children would have a hard time with his name, so I changed the name to Tommy. And I remember on several occasions that my mother was basically having, you know, a difficult time dealing with him and his curious mind, you know. And there I saw tolerance because my mother was able to tolerate him, to the point, because he was a baby or at the baby stage. Um, you mentioned tolerance, and what was the other word?
Respect.
Respect. Now, in part, I'm so glad you touched on that because if you notice, the times are changing, and the children, I don't
That's
know what
right.
is going on, but the parents have to step up their game. The teachers have to step up their game. Um, I remember in part one, right, where he is introduced to a soldier, and most children at this age, when you ask them what they want to be, they're
That's
able
right.
to tell you. And so that kind of tied in with it. I was able to expose them to several different careers, such as the police and the army personnel that I placed in the book. Little Tommy, you could see he had manners. His mother brought him up with good manners, and so he was able to demonstrate that when he saw and met these persons, who were in the army and also who helped him along the way, the police.
Yeah. So when children are exposed to different cultures, they begin to see differences as sometimes to celebrate rather than to fear. I can remember, I just want to share a brief, just a brief example. I remember when I first started working on the cruise ship, and one of the thing, it was like a cultural shock for me, just trying to navigate my way through 52 different cultures. And it was so hard for me because I just used to my little Jamaica. I didn't, travel anywhere else. And that was my first travel. So it was difficult for me to navigate my way through and even tolerate people of different cultures. But as I grew over time, I realized that respect is due to everybody's culture, and for kids, having that exposure will help them to become more rounded, and when they go among people of different culture, race, and everything, they will be more at ease,
Yeah.
and socially they will be inclined to be more acceptable. uh, how does your book speaks to build stronger social skills?
Well, in terms of social skills, I can see where part one and part two, when he met those first, part two was when he went on his first flight, and he met the air hostess Nardia, and he was able to, greet her politely. He and his mom, they greeted her politely while she, was being of service to them. And it goes back again, like I said, in part one, where no matter what the career was, you could see that the some people in Jamaica would say they brought up, see if there's such a word, but how he was brought up influenced how he socialized with these persons, from different career background.
Just to build on that, diverse cultural differences or experiences help children develop stronger social skills. As they communicate and work with peers from different backgrounds, they become better listeners, more tend to listen more, and also they become more effective in solving problems together. So having that social skills and the diversity of different culture will definitely help them to able to solve problems more quicker than if they did not have these experiences.
Mhm.
Let's move on to encourages curiosity and learning, because you spoke about curiosity and learning. So for
Yeah.
this, I just want you to take a break. Thank you all for watching Thankful Thursday. I am your host, Fionia Salmon. Today, I have Shennell Louden, and we are discussing the topic, the importance of cultural diversity for children, and also her book that she recently published. It's called Little Tommy Great Adventures, and we're going to dive more into this discussion. But before we do so, Thankful Thursday is also brought to you by Yonier Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t-shirts that feature the title of my book, that is It Will Be Long But Not Forever. Thank you so much. Go out to make sure you get a copy of my book and also purchase it for a friend or family. Let's dive back into the interview or the discussion, that is, with Shennell. How does curiosity and learning encourages diversity?
Wow. That question is phenomenal by itself. Um, Curiosity and encouragement. You want me to connect it with the book?
Sure, sure, sure.
So,
Definitely.
because he had a curious mind, um, he had a very, very curious mind not only on the plane, it was also in part one. And his mother asked him, what did he want to be when he grows up? And he said, a soldier. And then right there, you could see that the mother was comforting. She was trying to encourage him to, you know what he wants from early. Um, on the flight, he was curious again, but this time it was because he found a map in part two, right? And what was on the map, caused his mind to have
Mm,
several different questions for his mother. His mother was very patient with him in real life. My mother was very patient with my brother in his curiosity mindset, you know. He would often ask a lot of questions. What what does this do? How does this affect this? You mentioned in the question, you said, how did it interrelate with diversity,
yes,
Leonina?
definitely. In additional to cultural diversity, it also encourages curiosity, as we said before, and the love for
Yes,
learning. As you mentioned with Tommy, he was
yes,
pointing at the map and everything. He was
yes,
curious. He was
yes,
having that spark to really
yes,
want to learn and ask all those questions.
yes,
Children naturally ask questions about what they see or experience. Being
mhm,
around different cultures sparks their interest in new
yes.
languages, food, holidays, tradition, making learning more exciting and meaningful. As you can see, it came out in your book as well.
Yes, that is so true because when he went, my favorite picture from the book, one of my favorite pictures from the book was when he was on the flight and you could see that those who were also on the flight with him, they were from different culture. You could see, some Indians and it's just a whole bunch of different people from different nationality, different culture. And see, this prepares a child who has never been on a flight, that this is what is expected. And not only that, it did teach him, to be, I think, like I mentioned before, to have that respect, for the different cultures that are available.
That's right. Uh, I just looking at that photograph, I can see where it strengthens his identity and also his self-esteem.
Oh yeah,
Equally important, diversity helps children from minority background
yes,
feel proud of their identity.
that
And
is so
when
true.
their culture is seen and valued, it boosts their self-esteem and help them feel that they truly belong.
I
How
call
did you
it,
bring that out in the story? As I was looking at the photo, I can see, you know,
yes.
how his self-esteem, he was out there. He like was like a social
Mhm.
butterfly, so to speak.
Yes, I call it the Oreo situation, meaning that colorism and racism, it is so real. And I wanted the children to just not, put their focus on that. I wanted them to feel, like I said earlier, included. And if you notice, I deliberately made the mother and the son, of different complexion, well, similar complexion rather, and the father. So what it's a typical mixed family. The father, I didn't send you that picture, but that one, he's actually of
Oh,
Caucasian
that's
look,
great.
because I wanted to include diversity, and I'm so happy that persons who have bought the book already in Canada, in the United States, even in England, they could see what I was trying to say, or what image I wanted to
Yes,
derive at from the book. And because of that, one of the lessons is like love yourself no matter what color, and
mm,
try to be as respectful to
that's
others who are of different colors, different background, different nationality.
when you were embarking on writing your book, the theme for your book, how did you think that it will be perceived in a global world?
Well, when I was writing the book, I think my focus wasn't too much on the theme. Um, but nonetheless, many persons have already drawn their own conclusions from it, you know. And to the second part of what was the second part of your question?
How do you think that the world will perceive your book in terms of the theme?
I think my book came out at the right time, Fionia, when these things were happening and even more. And I think that that's how I got the support from some persons, because they saw what I was trying to tell the children without literally telling them directly. So I placed all of those inside the book for, you know, both the child and parent or teacher to actually indirectly process it, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's not like
Definitely.
telling them directly in the book, but based on the scenarios, based on the images. And I'm so glad I got a good illustrator. I want to say, enough love to Inspire Publishing over there in Bahamas. That's with Terry Bethel. She was the one who guided me with this book. And I'm so happy that the children can now feel proud to be in their own skin and to do, you know, pursue rather their dreams regardless.
Global, finally, understanding cultural diversity prepares children for life in the globalized world, whether in school, work, or travel. They're they're being more confident and capable of interacting with people from all walks of life. And I see where on your social media pages, I see where you have participated in Read Across Jamaica recently. And I want to know, how was that experience? And, is it an annual thing for you to do or participate in Read Across Jamaica?
Oh yes, read across Jamaica. I had so much fun doing it. The last school that I went to was Cool Hands Preparatory, and it was well
Yeah.
received. I've been doing it since 2023, and I went to a lot more places. I went to the library. I even went to the hospital. Those children were the second at Sinners Bay Hospital, and enough love to the staff down there. Um, they allowed me to go there and read for the children, and they were so excited. I mean, can you
Nice.
imagine being on the hospital ward, the children's ward, and seeing them with so many stuff that's wires that's connected to them, but the only thing that kept them happy for the day, and even the nurses, they came out and they all hugged me and told me that it was a good thing. They felt good knowing that the work that they were doing, wasn't too much of a stressor that day because I was able to share with them as well. I've also been to the Senate Bay Library. I have also been into neighborhoods. Now, this Fiona is very important to me. It's like my baby because the support that I'm looking for right now is a lot because I work with the children down here, and from books that have been bought from me, I've been able to donate, to give back to various communities and to the children within the different schools. I have gone to more than probably 5 schools, and someone
Wow.
looked at me and said, "Did you know that you're not just selling a book, you are actually helping the future generation? You're actually saving lives." And I said, "No, I did not know I did not think of it that impact. But I am so grateful that, you know, um, I'm so grateful that I was able to do that, you know. That's Ultra's primary school. I've been that, and most of the schools I've been to were the schools that I attended because I wanted to show the children that, listen, nothing is impossible. And if they
That's
put God
right.
first and if they work really hard, they can accomplish it too, Fiona. So I've been around various schools, and I plan to continue this as so long as my breath lends me. I want to do this for future, but I'm also in the same breath seeking help from people overseas. If you're hearing my voice, please help by buying your copy. It helped. These are some children that I also shared with at Ultras Primary that you would call special education group. And even them that you would think that some persons would think that, maybe they won't catch on. They caught on so well, and I was so proud of them. So if there's anyone listening that um, is in the hearing of my voice, please go and purchase your copy, or you can contact me. Um, you can contact me directly at 5040972.
Cultural diversity isn't just something to accept, it's something to embrace. It
Yeah.
helps children grow in character, confidence, competence, and equipping them for future where
Mhm.
connection and collaboration across cultures are more important than ever. And on
Mhm.
that note, Chanel, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about diversity as it ties into your book?
Well, I would like to say more of a statement that when you see these children that are trying very hard, you know, being from a different nationality, different cultural background, you have to have that empathy towards them, and I speak loudly now to the teachers and staff of various schools and institutions. It is already difficult for them trying to adapt to our culture if they're not from that country. But as adults, we need to be able to guide them, and I'm leaving with that message. Guide them, even the parents. Take up the book, read to them at nights, and remind them that we are already in a diverse world. So these are things and issues that they will come across, right? Um, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I just want everybody to feel not feel like they're not a part of the book, right? Like I said, I try to include cultural diversity in so many different ways. And this is something that a big eye opener through the book that parents, teachers will see.
Thank you very much, Chanel. Thank you so much for joining us here on Thankful Thursday. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us about the importance of cultural diversity. And make sure to go ahead and get a copy of her book, Little Tommy Great Adventures. Until then, I am Fionia Salmon, and I'll see you next time on Thankful Thursday.